Hey there, YouTubers! Hi there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to the chemistry video. Today, with great sorrow, is my last video over specifically the elements. Today we're going to talk about group 8 or 18, depending who asks, the noble gases. As always, we'll talk about why they're in the part they are, and the general characteristics, finally followed by each one individually. The noble gases all have sticks up their butts, and they won't bond to anything, normally. This is because they are in group 8 or 18, and have full outer energy levels with 8 valence electrons, excluding helium, which has 2 valence electrons, but yet has a full energy level. That is because of the characteristics of S1 orbitals. Otherwise, they all adhere to the octet rule. To learn more about that, go watch the first part of this series. They are all gases in nonmetals, and unlike the halogens, they're not colorful. They're transparent to visible light for the most part. However, if you run electrical current through them, they can emit light. As to why they do this, I've talked about light emission many times before on this channel, and you can go watch my energy series to learn more. Another thing about them is their atoms exist alone. Most atoms, specifically hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and chlorine, exist in pairs. This is because they would be unstable as just a single atom. And frankly, they'd just be more unstable, because they already are unstable. The noble gases are already stable, so sharing electrons with the same atom or another atom makes no sense. Helium does whatever helium does. Can it swing from a web? No, it can't, because it's a noble gas. Helium is the lightest noble gas and second lightest element with only 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Fun fact, as you probably already know, it won't bond with anything. It also can't be turned into a solid, only a liquid. Hydrogen potentially could, so. It is also the second most abundant element in the universe. Sad part is it's actually kind of rare here on Earth. This is due to the fact that it floats to the top of our atmosphere and the Earth's gravity isn't strong enough to hold it in. Earth's early atmosphere was mostly hydrogen and helium, but was lost to space. This is why our atmosphere today is mostly nitrogen and oxygen. However, hydrogen bonds to things, so we still have lots of it to go around. Helium was the only element to be discovered in space before on Earth. This is from looking at the spectral lines of the sun, which is where it gets its name from. The Greek god of the sun was Helios, thus helium. Helium, like most light gases, changes the pitch of your voice, making it much higher. Pitched. I would have bought some for this bit, but it's extremely expensive. Oh. Hold on, let me see if I can do my Mickey Mouse impression. Oh, hi, kids.
No.
Quiet, Kyle.
No.
No, I'm just doing a high-pitched voice. My failure is my only option. You find helium in radioactive ore deposits because the ore decays releasing alpha particles, or helium. One interesting thing is that the first mineral deposit was in Dexter, Kansas. So, Phil and I, hopefully tomorrow anyways, are driving 5 hours south to Dexter, Kansas, which is basically Oklahoma. If we don't go, here's an awkward cut to my sources. Otherwise, here's our trip to Dexter, Kansas.
8 hours later.
So, Phil and I just drove 287 miles
For this.
for this. I think it was worth it.
Yeah, had fun. Time to go back.
We're almost to Oklahoma, so we're going to probably go to Oklahoma now, too. I'm just wondering where the...
What is the entrance? We came through the backside.
No, I'm wondering where the museum is. We're going to go find the museum.
Yep.
So, do. Ah, the periodic table of elements. Breathtaking. Oh, hi there. I didn't know you were there. What's that? You're wondering how I know all of this information? I'm flattered. Well, I have online sources as per the usual. They're in the description. However, I do have a book I get most of the information from. That book is The Elements, a visual exploration of every known atom in the universe by Theodore Gray. It's an absolutely wonderful read if you're interested in the elements or chemistry, or it's just a great read in general. I read it when I was in like 7th or 8th grade. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. The next noble gas is neon. It's also well known, similar to helium. Have you ever heard of neon signs?
Nope.
Bruh. Of course you have, as long as you're not Kyle. These are glass-filled tubes that are filled with low. These are glass tubes, my bad, that are filled with low-pressure neon. And when a current is applied, the neon emits a red-orange light that is specific to neon. Most neon signs today are fake. Even the ones that still use glass tubes don't use neon. They're most likely mercury vapor or a different gas. And the other neon signs, well, they're not neon, they're LEDs. If they do use glass tubes and the light seems to come from inside the actual tube, not the outside, then as long as it produces the right light, it is possibly genuine neon. Neon used to be used in the first lasers, but those have since been replaced with diodes, just like their counterparts to neon signs. Other than that, neon doesn't have a lot of other uses. I also have a tube of what I've been told is neon, but I don't really have any way of testing it. It seems that I could apply a voltage to it with a Tesla coil and it would light up. But the one I bought didn't work, and I can't be bothered to get another one, so fine. Are you gonna finish that?
No.
Can I have it?
Your joke?
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's yours.
Yeah.
Then finish it.
I said, are you gonna finish that? It's argon.
Yeah.
This is going on too long. Argon is very abundant compared to the other noble gases in the Earth's atmosphere. It's 1% of it by weight. So it goes nitrogen, oxygen, and then argon. So breathe it in. So it ends up being a byproduct of liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen production. Argon was used as the atmosphere in old incandescent light bulbs, but those have since then been replaced with LEDs. Duh. Argon, when a current is applied to it, is blue with a tinge of violet, which separates it from the next element, Krypton. Argon's only remaining use is in labs as a gas to protect things from oxygen and to prevent wine from oxidizing, which is why you can buy whole ampules filled with it on Amazon. Argon is also the first noble gas that can be forced to make unstable compounds with other elements. You know, I've got all kinds of pop culture references for this one. Krypton, birth planet of Superman, son of Krypton, you know, that whole spiel. Also, you know the pale blue glow of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, you know, from the original trilogy, picture here? Well, the more I think about it, that's actually what Krypton looks like when an electrical current is applied to it and it glows. Interesting, isn't that? Krypton at one point was used in high-end light bulbs and flashlights, but because it made the tungsten filaments last longer and use less energy. However, modern LEDs are still much more efficient than any tungsten light. It can also, under specific conditions, bond to fluorine and oxygen. He's too dangerous to be kept alive.
You can't. He must stand trial.
He has control of the Senate and the courts. He's too dangerous to be left alive.
Star Wars fans, you know the reference. And you also know that Mace Windu's lightsaber is a specific violet color. That violet reminds me a lot of Xenon. Because Xenon, when electrical current is applied, looks very similar to that. Anyways, Xenon, as far as you and I are concerned, does not bond to things, period. Just like helium, neon, argon, and krypton, even though these two have been found to bond with things. Xenon was the first noble gas we found that it bonds to things. It actually bonds to things relatively easily, specifically fluorine, because xenon difluoride can actually be sold for use in labs. So that's cool, I guess. Xenon was used in IMAX projectors to get a bright parallel source of light. But it wouldn't surprise me if LEDs have replaced that too. At the time the book The Elements was written, high-end cars were switching to bulbs that were filled with xenon to get the filaments to be brighter, more efficient, and last longer. However, this is 2020, and LEDs, for the millionth time, have replaced those once again. Lastly, xenon is the last stable noble gas. The last two are both radioactive. It's all coming to a close. I should have done a more creative way of coming in here. Last two, radon and organesson. And they're not stable. Organesson is the heaviest that only sticks around for a fraction of a second, so I'm not even going to bother. However, the longest half-life of radon is 3.2 days, and it's much more interesting. Radon is fairly common, kind of like neon, kind of like helium, except we've harvested most of the helium. Radon is just a nuisance. Radon is very common because it's a byproduct of the radioactive decay of uranium and thorium. Granite is a common source of these elements, so buildings that contain lots of granite are actually slightly radioactive. Radon is most commonly known today because it leaks into people's basements from the ground. The radon gets trapped there, and either it or its radioactive resultants give you cancer, specifically lung cancer, and you die. So there are services that go around and install fans or pumps in houses to vent the radon. Most modern houses in my area are required by code to install pumps when they're built. Therefore, when a house gets sold, it also has to one installed. So my house was sold, and my roommate's parents bought it, and they had a pump installed. I actually sleep right next to it. My feet touch it. They don't touch it, but they're right next to it. They're really close. So, foot cancer? Question mark? Anyways, if you're worried about radon in your home, you can buy one of those testers and send it in after it sits in your house for a few days. Or you can buy an electric readout, but that's kind of unnecessary. However, there's a DIY way of doing it. The YouTube channel Action Lab had a video where he had YouTubers with confirmed radon in their houses run a vacuum for 20 minutes with a coffee filter over the intake. He then brought a Geiger counter near the filter, and the dust was measurably radioactive. This is because those radioactive resultants from the radon. So, what better way to end the series than with a DIY, and we're going to measure the radon in my parents' house. So here I am in my house, ready to do the radon test. So how's this going to work? I have my radon infested room. This radon infested room, I'm assuming. The whole basement's infested, but this is where they were going to put the pump. So, yeah. We're going to do it here. Basically, I have a vacuum with some tissue blocking the front. And so I'm just going to plug this in and let it run for 20 minutes. And then we're going to take a Geiger counter to the tissue. Simple as that.
8 hours later.
So the normal count was 20. Now I'm holding up to this double layered tissue. And we're already at 42, 46, 48, 53, 56, 59, 60, 64, 70, 74, 78, 82, 83, 90. Now we're in the danger zone for how radioactive this one little piece of tissue is. 130, 132, 141, 143, 146, 150, 153, 157. Yeah, you get the picture. Radon is very dangerous, and its products are that much more dangerous. Imagine this stuff being in your lungs. Just standing down here is toxic. 179, 190, it's climbing. 191, 192, 193, 195, 198, 201. Yeah. Dangerous. I think we're gonna max out at 205. Well, hi. Actually, this is kind of a goodbye. Well, I have no idea if that radon experiment I did actually worked, but I guess I'll find out later. So, anyways, I'll see you in 2 weeks for my video on bonds. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New videos every other Friday, 2 p.m. Central Time. And good night. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Oh, you're still here? I thought I told you to go home. Oh, you want more? I'm flattered. Check out the playlist. If you want exclusive content, check out my Instagram, Dr_Sheep_YouTube. That's all lowercase. If you want to help the earth, subscribe. When I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to plant 10 trees. If you feel that's too small, then check out my channel chart where I lay out even bigger goals. Finally, stick around for the next 20 seconds to give me that sweet watch time. Bye.